opportunity now to pick up a very, very intriguing and important topic, because as we speak, India is heading to the first mission that is going to land on the moon. We've orbited it once with Chandrayaan, Chandrayaan 2, which actually put a lander on the ground. Why is this interesting and dramatic? Of course, is the science behind it and the fact that India is taking a great space leap. But what we saw just a couple of days ago was the chairman of ISRO going down to Tirupati. If you see the visuals that we're going to bring up on your screens and all the elements on your screens to tell you the story, it is very, very intriguing. Because for those who've read their Einstein and those who've read their history, Einstein, of course, when doing his theory of special relativity, of general relativity, often used to come and write and say that I am hunting for the mind of God. And of course, Chairman Sivan of ISRO also has been seeking the blessings of Tirupati in Tirumala right before, 24 hours literally before this space launch. So in the end, when we discuss and have a conversation on science and God, where do we actually stand? Let me quickly open up this conversation. I have Ravi Gupta, former DRDO scientist, with us in our studios, SK Dhaka, who's a space scientist and of course a professor of physics. Dr. A.V. Ramanna Dikshitillu, the head priest of the Balaji temple in Tirupati, joining us in just a bit. And I still have with us Sapna Bisht as well, joining us on the broadcast, as well as Radhika Kapoor, if I'm not mistaken. Let's quickly have this conversation. Let me start with you, Professor Dhaka.
Yeah.
Now, I mentioned Einstein for a particular reason. You've seen Chairman Sivan, of course, foremost ISRO scientist, chairman of ISRO, going to Tirupati. Now, do scientists or scientists as you equally have faith in God, sir?
Yeah, I think I'd like to mention here, because it's like a tradition from Indian Space Research Organizations before the launch. Many of them they have usually visited, and it's not new. Like even the Sivan, he's visiting Tirumala, because that is like more like is a tradition in the ISRO. And I witnessed this over the last like 2 decades, starting from Professor U.R. Rao, then Professor Kasturi Rangan, and then later Madhavan Nair, and then Sivan. So probably I think it's one's own faith, and there's nothing wrong. I don't find anything wrong like in this particular situation, that this is more like personal. So, but on the other side, when you talk about the scientific activities and the achievements and upgradation of the technology, I think they are doing pretty well. So I think I'm quite okay with this.
Okay, what about you, Sapna ji? Belief in God? If you can hear us? Okay, let me open Radhika ji if you can. Ma'am, what do you believe in God?
Absolutely, sir. I definitely believe in God, and I think most of us sitting here, we all believe in God. And I think there is nothing wrong going to a temple and taking blessings, because there are a lot of people who actually have worked so hard for making this happen. There were you can see the grueling hard work that has been done by the people over there, that has been done by the scientists over there. I think we cannot deny this. We all should appreciate it. And taking blessings from an almighty God, it's a personal matter, and it's absolutely fine. There is nothing wrong in it.
Okay, nothing wrong in it, of course, but it goes much beyond that. And I took the examples of scientists, of course, as well, who have had deep faith. And you would think that those are oxymorons, but they're absolutely not. Pooja Bhatia, what do you make of the fact that when we say that science looks to read the mind of God, what is that actually about?
See, science and astrology, they both go hand in hand. Okay, behind astrology, there are astronomical aspects as well. We calculate the planetary position, the planetary positions like Sun, Moon, Mars, how much degree, how much minutes, how much seconds, what is the placement of planet. Astronomy sees, the placement of celestial bodies outside the earth, whereas astrology sees the impact of the celestial bodies and planetary positions on human lives and on earth.
Of course, which is of course interesting. Astrology and all of this very, very interesting, and of course that's another part of the conversation. But I'm trying to find a larger, deeper meaning. There are many people, Professor Dhaka, who hold deep faith, and scientists, it seems, are amongst them. But I would presume that as a scientist, you have faith in mathematics and the faith in the law of physics. What is the faith that one seeks from God beyond that?
Yeah, Rishabh, I agree with you, but because I believe that, I think it's like person to person, of course it varies. And if you talk about like personally about me, because there are many things happening like in the universe and we don't know. And what is the like physics behind them, what is the mathematics behind them. Of course, up to some extent, everything is going fine. We are following the mathematical rules, we are following the physics rule. And then that's what we are today, like Chandrayaan 2 is ready to go up. But on the other hand, like if you give a peace of mind and if you give that, like get the inner strength, then there is nothing wrong. So this strength is making you more stronger and stronger for your work. So probably
when we sing stronger and stronger, because like I said, we live in a country of deep faith. Now the faith can be different. You can belong to one particular faith, one particular creed, believe in one God or the other God.
Right.
But in holding faith of actually some supreme entity being there, when we are in a moment of a scientific epiphany, a scientific achievement, when we're heading out into the moon, does that challenge faith or reinforce it, sir?
I think, as I mentioned earlier, because that part is a bit different, like means on your day-to-day life and on rituals, then like early in the morning if you go to temples and you get like good strength and pray to God and then come back to, and you are very focused on your work. So I think it's just like yoga. This is my personal feeling that.
Okay, Pooja Bhatia, you're of course an astrologer. Now, there's a big debate in this country whether astrology is actually superstition or science. How is it scientific? How is that not just superstition, convincing people that depending on where some celestial body is, that their fates will be decided by it?
No, as I told earlier, that astrology has an astronomical aspect. It's a perfect science. We do mathematical calculations in astrology as well. We check what is the placement of different planets. We have 7 different planets and we have shadowy planets as well. And what is the placement, at what degree, what planet will have what impact.
But how does that affect my life? When we write an astrology column, horoscope for something, how does where the planet, how does that impact my life? What is the basis of science in that?
Basis of science is that every planetary position, whatever time you are born, whatever is the longitude or latitude at which you are born, it has some specific planetary position at the time when you are born. A specific horoscope is there. Specific placement of planets.
So now there are many people who believe in astrology, in palm reading, in face reading, in leaves reading, I mean tarot cards. I mean there are many things people hold a lot of deep faith in. We'll come back to you in just a second. On the broadcast with me, I have Dr. A.V. Ramana Dikshitullu joining us, head priest of the Balaji Temple. Dr. Dikshitullu, appreciate your time this evening. Chairman Sivan of ISRO, of course, was there, sir, seeking the blessings of Lord Balaji just a couple of days ago for the ISRO launch. Scientists having faith and belief, sir, in God, what does that say to you, sir?
Good evening, everybody. Om Namo Venkateshaya. I am the head priest in Tirumala Balaji Temple. And also, I am a doctorate in molecular biology from Venkateshwar University.
Fascinating, sir. Fascinating.
It is a strange mixture of science and religion. But it helps me to look into the issues with my research experience, to go to the root of the issue. And I myself had a lot of very strange spiritual experiences with the God when I am totally involved in the rituals and all that.
Can you help us understand that? Because a lot of people would think this anachronistic or it's an oxymoron of science, of scientists actually believing in God. I took the example of Einstein, Stephen Hawking. They've all been people of faith.
Yes, every top scientist, any coming to that, any scientist or any professional who has reached the top of his profession subject, like a surgeon or a technology engineer or a space scientist, anybody, at the final stage, just like our Stephen Hawking, has to believe. Even Isaac Newton or our theory of relativity, Einstein, they all left everything to God in the final stages of their career. So what I have seen that every person's life is dictated by his own karma and his own planetary setup. And I had a lot of experiences in my own life to prove that.
Okay,
And,
Doctor, if I can just sort of
Yes.
ask you a follow-up question, sir, because
Yes.
we are having a very interesting conversation in the context, of course, of the Chandrayaan 2 moon landing, and the debate on this has always been that as scientists, one has to find proof and has to find something that you can see and touch and understand. How does one find that when it comes to matters of faith, sir?
It is, we have to believe in destiny, sir. Our Vedic culture is based on karma philosophy. So everybody's life is decided over by his own previous karmas. And the achievements in the scientific region of technology is also dictated by his own karma. And I had been privileged by blessing the almost every project of ISRO. When the directors brought the scale models of the space vehicles to the temple to get blessed, I used to keep them, purify them with water, and then
Okay, so
put it at the
regardless
feet of the
regardless
Lord
of the
and then
faith that it
give
might
back.
be, regardless of whatever faith it might be, and many people hold different kinds of faith and different kinds of belief.
Yes,
When we
yes,
say, when we
yes.
and this often all of us do, I think pretty much most of the people watching this broadcast have, regardless of faith, would have sought blessings or taken blessings at some point of time or the other. What are blessings, sir? Are they beyond good wishes? What are they actually, sir?
Everything should go according to the schedule without any hitch or anything. And also the interest of the country is involved here. Is a larger range. Blessings, generally we bless only one particular person or his family or his profession. But here, the blessings are to the country, to the nation, to the human race, to develop and to use the technology and to use the technology for the welfare of the human race, to protect our planet and for the...
Okay, so is there a line, sir, before I let you go, my last question, is there a line between superstition that is, of course, often deleterious, sir, that drives people to do things that are not righteous, versus having faith and science?
No, superstition is something which has come into being in the medieval dark ages, when the religion was used for the benefit of some communities or some groups of people. But the religion itself is also a science, what I have understood, and it is a science for higher minds. Because, see, to enjoy, to experience the presence of God, you should train your mind to a higher level. That is possible through meditation and yoga.
Okay.
And definitely, the religion is higher science for higher minds. That's what I have found out.
Okay.
Yes.
Appreciate your time for taking a few questions, sir. Quickly, let me throw it out to Professor Dhaka. Professor Dhaka, find the line. What is superstition? Because when you're sending a moon rocket to the moon, when you're sending a moon rocket to the moon, you have to pick a time slot on the basis of the apogee, the perigee, the rotation of the moon, the distance on the moon, the earth. You don't pick it on the top on astrological terms, for example.
Yeah, I think when you talk about like on scientific aspect, so there is a window, proper window, then you have to launch at a particular window. Otherwise, because there are some calculations that it has to reach to the moon at this particular time, and then you have to take the observations there. So I think we have to have that. It's not like superstition, it is the actual calculation.
But many people who actually think of Shubh time, and let me get Bhuja Bhate into this conversation. Now, where is the line between superstition, which is non-factual? Now, the ISRO guys were not looking for a Shubh time, they were looking for the scientifically appropriate time.
Yeah, that's right.
So superstition is when you are blindly follow something without any logical reasoning, right? And belief is like you are releasing and channelizing your thoughts in a positive manner, so that you can get a fruitful result of every situation and every action. So in this case, nobody is following any kind of
superstition. And for people who think that astrology is all superstition, what would you like to say to them?
No, it's not at all. So see, there are a lot of people who believe blindly on astrology. Astrology is a tool to guide people. it's not like you should follow in a very superstitious manner that okay, this is Rahu, this is Ketu,
Okay.
and it's going to have a bad impact on you. No, it's not true always.
Okay, but you know, if I for example take a particular kind of vegetable or I hang my nimbu and hari mirch, how does that change things, man?
So, see, all these remedies in astrology, okay, these are the ways to channelize your thoughts to your thinking power, so that you can start thinking in a positive manner. You don't do any
Okay.
remedies, you just think positive. That is more than enough.
Okay, all right. Maybe it's better nimbu and hari mirch for the ISRO launch
Yeah.
also. I've run out of time.